You are losing more opportunities than you realize, not because you lack skill, but because you take too long to decide. Every time you hesitate, the world moves without you. Deals get closed by someone else. Openings disappear. Competitors gain ground. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Slow decision-making is not caution. It's a leak in your performance system. In high-stakes environments, speed is leverage, and hesitation is a tax you can't afford to keep paying. The good news is that speed is not an inborn talent. It's a skill that can be trained, automated, and upgraded, just like installing new firmware on your brain. Today, you are going to install the code for accelerated decision-making, a tactical protocol designed to collapse the time between recognizing an opportunity and acting on it. This is not about recklessness. It's about compressing your decision cycle without sacrificing accuracy. Think of your brain as a processor. Right now, your decision-making system is running too many unnecessary background programs. Fear of loss, overanalysis, ego concerns, all burning processing power. The protocol we are going to install is about stripping away those drains so you can execute with precision and speed. Step 1 is identifying your personal decision bottlenecks. You need to know exactly where your brain gets stuck. For most people, the slowdown happens in one of three places. First, at the point of collecting data, when you keep gathering more and more information hoping for certainty that never comes. Second, in evaluating options, when you loop the same pros and cons over and over without adding anything new. Third, at the point of committing, when you've made a choice internally but stall on actually acting because of fear of being wrong. I want you to think about the last 3 major decisions you made. Which of these stages did you burn the most time in? That's your leak. The first part of the code is to impose hard constraints on the data collection phase. In neuroscience, the brain's prefrontal cortex, the center for rational thought, becomes less efficient after a certain threshold of inputs. You think more data will lead to clarity, but past that point it only increases noise. The fix is simple. Predetermine in advance how much data is enough for a specific category of decision. For low-risk calls, limit yourself to 5 relevant pieces of information. For medium-risk decisions, 10. For high-risk, 20. Anything beyond that and you're no longer improving accuracy. You're feeding analysis paralysis. Step 2 is collapsing the evaluation phase. High performers use preloaded decision filters. These are 3 to 5 criteria ranked by priority that they apply instantly to any option. If you don't have these, you waste time weighing dozens of irrelevant factors. Build your filters now. For example, your top filter might be impact. Does this decision meaningfully move me toward my long-term objective? Second, reversibility. If it turns out wrong, how easily can I undo or adjust? Third, resource cost. How much time, money, or energy will this consume compared to alternatives? Once you have these filters, you run every option through them in under 60 seconds. The best choice will emerge without mental looping. The third part of the protocol is committing instantly once the filters have pointed to a clear choice. This is where most people still stall, because committing is a neurological stressor. The amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, fires a signal anytime you face uncertainty, and your body interprets that as danger. The solution is to pair the decision with an immediate micro-action that signals to your brain the choice has been made. This could be sending the email, making the purchase, booking the meeting, or even announcing the decision to a team. You don't leave space for your mind to second guess. If you wait more than 30 seconds after deciding, you give the amygdala time to rebuild hesitation. Now, let's address a hidden factor: decision fatigue. Your brain has a finite daily budget for making choices. The more trivial decisions you burn that budget on, the slower and less accurate you become in the critical ones. The fix is to automate or eliminate low-value decisions. This is why top executives wear similar outfits, eat similar breakfasts, and follow routines. They reserve mental energy for high-leverage choices. Audit your daily routine and remove at least 5 decisions you make out of habit, but that have low consequence. This will free processing power for the moments that matter. The next part of the code is setting decision deadlines. Without a time boundary, decisions expand to fill all available space. In behavioral psychology, this is known as Parkinson's Law. For small decisions, set a 2-minute rule. For medium ones, 24 hours. For big ones, 72 hours. This doesn't mean you always use the maximum time. It means you never exceed it. The deadline forces your brain to work with urgency and prevents perfectionism from creeping in. We also need to talk about building decision speed under pressure. You cannot expect to be fast only when it matters if you never train for speed in low-stakes environments. This is where micro-decision drills come in. Set aside 10 minutes daily to run through rapid choice scenarios. These could be simple business hypotheticals, quick-fire problem-solving, or simulated negotiations. The repetition rewires your brain's neural pathways to favor speed while still engaging critical thinking. Over time, this becomes your default mode. Another advanced tactic is reducing your switch cost between decisions. Every time you context switch, your brain needs time to load the new mental file. Group similar decisions together and batch them. If you have to approve marketing materials, do all of them in one block instead of scattering them through the day. This allows the relevant neural networks to stay activated, cutting decision time dramatically. Finally, we integrate the protocol into a single command sequence. Identify your bottleneck, limit your inputs, apply preloaded filters, commit with an immediate micro-action, protect your decision budget by automating the trivial. Enforce deadlines, drill for speed, batch by category. When you install this code into your operating system, you are no longer at the mercy of hesitation. You become the person who moves first, moves decisively, and forces the rest of the field to react to you. In a competitive environment, that's not just an advantage. It's the difference between winning and watching someone else win. One of the most overlooked parts of accelerated decision-making is feedback integration. The faster you close the loop between making a choice, getting a result, and adjusting your approach, the more your brain treats speed as safe. In neuroscience, this is called predictive coding. Your brain constantly makes micro-predictions about the outcome of an action. If you delay decisions for fear of being wrong, you rob your brain of the learning cycle it needs to get faster. The way to hardwire speed is to reduce the emotional cost of mistakes. That means reframing wrong decisions not as failures, but as rapid data points. The faster you gather and process them, the faster you reach optimal execution. To apply this, commit to a simple principle. Every decision produces an immediate post-action review. In the next 60 seconds after executing, ask yourself 3 questions. What worked exactly as I expected? What did not match my prediction? What will I adjust next time? This turns every choice into a micro-rep in building a faster, sharper decision engine. Another layer of the code is controlling your state before deciding. The state you are in changes how your brain processes risk and reward. A fatigued brain will overweight potential losses. An overstimulated brain will overvalue gains. Either bias will slow you down. That means before you make a significant choice, you stabilize your physiological baseline. This can be done in 2 minutes with controlled breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6, then hold for 2. This pattern shifts your nervous system toward balance, letting the prefrontal cortex regain control from the amygdala. You are not just calming down, you are priming your brain for optimal decision speed and clarity. Now, let's dismantle one of the biggest myths holding people back: the idea that speed means lower quality. In reality, the highest performers in business, sports, and combat are fast because they simplify their environment. They pre-decide the majority of variables before they ever enter the moment of choice. This is known as decision preloading. It means you identify scenarios you face repeatedly and you choose your response ahead of time, so in the moment, you simply execute. Pilots, surgeons, and elite soldiers all operate on this principle. You can apply it by creating if-then style playbooks for your recurring situations. But remember, you store them in your mind as clear commands, not abstract lists. For example, if you lead a sales team, you might preload exactly what to do when a client asks for a discount. If you manage investments, you preload your response to market dips of a certain percentage. The decision is already made. You are simply activating it in real time. This eliminates hesitation because there is nothing left to deliberate. A further advantage comes from what I call environmental velocity cues. Your surroundings can either accelerate or slow your decision process. A cluttered workspace, constant digital notifications, and fragmented schedules all slow the neural handoff between perception and action. The fix is to engineer your environment so that your decision cues are visible and distractions are invisible. That means keeping critical data in immediate reach, removing irrelevant stimuli from your visual field, and setting technology to deliver only the information that is relevant to the current category of decision. When your environment tells your brain this is urgent and clear, your decision-making speed jumps without conscious effort. One of the most advanced layers of this code is momentum chaining. Once you make and act on one decision quickly, your brain enters a temporary heightened state of action readiness. If you immediately follow with another decision, you leverage that neurochemical state for free speed. But if you pause too long, the state dissipates and you are back to baseline. You can build momentum chains deliberately by stacking 3 to 5 small decisions in rapid succession before making a big one. This trains your brain to stay in a forward-leaning mode, so when the high-stakes call arrives, you are already primed for speed. The last integration point is identity alignment. If you still see yourself as someone who is careful to a fault, your subconscious will keep dragging your feet. You need to redefine yourself as someone who decides quickly and accurately. The fastest way to do this is to track and celebrate speed wins. Every time you make a fast, effective decision, you record it and review it weekly. This is not motivational fluff. You are using repetition and reinforcement to rewire your self-image. In neuroscience, the brain's default mode network adjusts its predictions about your future actions based on your past patterns. By feeding it evidence that you decide quickly and win, you make speed your default identity. When all parts of this protocol are running, the input limits, the preloaded filters, the micro-action commitment, the decision budget protection, the deadlines, the speed drills, the batching, the feedback loop, the state control, the decision preloading, the environmental velocity cues, the momentum chaining, and the identity alignment, you have effectively reprogrammed your operating system. You are no longer stuck in hesitation while opportunities decay. You are no longer reacting to the pace of others. You are dictating the tempo. In competitive arenas, the ability to decide and act before anyone else has even finished thinking is the ultimate asymmetry. This is what the code for accelerated decision-making gives you. And remember, this is just one code in your arsenal. Imagine what happens when you stack it with others designed for influence, focus, memory, and execution. That is when you become not just faster, but unstoppable. If you want to keep building this arsenal of mental codes for success, subscribe to Success Code now, because every week we are adding new systems that will give you an edge the world will not see coming until it is too late to catch up.